Hey Tanner, this is Dave at Dave's Auto. I'm calling you because I guess I got bad news and I just figured I'd call you and tell you myself. You know, you bend over a lot of hoods in your time, or underneath a lot of hoods. And when you're not familiar with an engine, the first thing I would recommend you do is kind of stop and take a look. Just kind of familiarize yourself with the routings and things like that, you know. Here's your oil filter housing, the worst possible place for it, I suppose. Look at this, here's a nice coolant bleed. You know, the highest point of the cooling system. That's a nice little bleed. So there you go, that was smart. Thank you, engineer. You've got these insulators here on top of your fuel injectors because they're noisy. And that's uncommon, but you peel those back and make sure that the return lines, you don't have any leaks, because this diesel died while driving. And normally diesels die because they don't have any fuel. And so the quickest way is, you know, you want to make sure you got no fuel leaks anywhere. And it's all dry underneath there. So now what we'll do is we'll just crank the engine and take a look. Now here's another thing that's a little suspect for me on this diesel engine. Timing belt. See these plastic covers on here? So what we want to do is we pulled the oil cap off of here. I want to see if the camshaft's rotating. And I want to listen too to see how the engine cranks. Let's go ahead and just crank it, just see what we get. So I'm looking down the camshaft here and I'm going to be able to see. I'll give you a picture down here.
Let me know when you're ready.
Huh?
I said let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, go ahead. Okay. Okay, stop. Okay, crank on it. So the cam is turning. Now that doesn't mean that it's in time correctly. So there's another concern that we have. And I just heard something that's a concern to me. So we always want to, you know, I always talk about it. God gave you 5 senses. Man, if you think about it, 5 senses on the organism that has to survive on a hostile planet in an environment. That's not a lot of input sensors. But they're so good that we only needed 5 of them. An engine's got 20 of them. Throttle position, coolant temp sensor, ambient air temp, barometric pressure sensors. It's got all these inputs in order to drive the car. And so use your inputs, your senses. So when this was cranking just now, I heard this kind of a do-do-do-do noise. Let's listen to it again. Go ahead and crank it. Worrisome to me. But what I'm going to do now is let's just see if it's a fuel issue or if it's like a timing mechanical issue. Give me some go juice, man. You do not take this in a diesel and just like that. You'll lock the motor up. You just lightly spray it. Go ahead, hit it. Again. Okay, so I'm barely triggering this. Not a mechanical problem, you got a fuel problem. Now we kind of know where to dive into it. So we're gonna do a few tests, follow us along, and we'll see if it's the delivery pump in the tank. If it's the high pressure pump, this thing does have a CP4 on it, doesn't it?
Right back there, yeah.
Yeah, CP4, you know about those. They're on the Europeans too, not just on on our American trucks. And obviously we're going to take a fuel sample. And we're going to see what's going on here.
Yeah, they don't give me that much room on this.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's that's his catch can basically. Yeah.
Do we have any more mason jars?
That's a pretty nice catch can, to be honest with you. I'm actually liking that thing. You know, he's got a good cap in here for the vapors. He's got a hose going into the canister. And then he's going back, putting it back in here into the intake. That's a really nice catch can, to be honest with you. I give that catch can a thumbs up right there.
Yeah, we have everything so tight in here. So we're going to start with our basics first. Just do the low end fuel pressure test. Make sure the fuel pump in the tank is actually sending up the fuel. there might be an underlining issue where that's not working, then yes, of course it won't start, but then it might be wearing out the injection pump.
Well, then if they got that coming, then I'll go out and look at this. Did you check the high fuel pressure data?
Yeah, it's at 88.
That's not enough.
Yeah, nope. Should be at like 3,000.
Cool. Well, did it have desired?
Yeah.
The filter under there?
Yep, it's right here.
Huh?
Yeah, it's right here. Man, what the heck? That thing's not coming out.
Her arm is just disappearing down the hole.
I know. I'm trying to disconnect the fuel filter. Yeah, using your fingers as your eyes. You know, image it in your head.
What are you, some type of alien? Jeez.
You have to be blind. You can't.
You're hiding your other senses.
Yeah. There we go. Got the fuel filter out. We took this out so we can do two things at once. We can check for low end fuel pressure, and then if there isn't, either way we want to cut open this filter and see if there's any metal inside, because if we have low end fuel pressure, then that means the high pressure side possibly means that there's contamination and the pump's wearing, or the pump is starting to wear because there's no fuel getting set up to it, so it's lack of lubrication. I'm gonna get the line that comes up, the fuel sending line, and then we'll attempt to starting it and see if any fuel comes out. That looks like the return. This looks like the main sending. So we got low on fuel pressure. Now we're gonna check out the high pressure pump. So
Oh, so now you got your gauge.
I just put a cup. It's rated for like 7 PSI. So we're gonna watch the gauge, make sure we're getting the correct PSI coming up from the low pump, and then we'll double check the high pressure. So it's rated for about 7, so it should be just right around that 10. Okay, ready? So we're roughly about 5 PSI. It's rated for 7. Should still be able to start. So now, just like all CP4s, our demonstration box. So I'm just gonna pop off this regulator up top and check for metal like that one. What would you do, Tyson? I can see the regulator, and that's what I would usually do, is pull that off, but should I cut open the filter first?
Oh, so you poured what was in it into here?
Yeah.
Okay. See the gunk now in it?
Yeah.
So,
Move this over. We're gonna cut it open, see what we can see inside, how much metal.
Always in it.
This is the glue that holds it in. Okay. Got it out. Looks like it hasn't been changed in a bit. Just in a while, or ever. Yeah.
even if we don't find any metal. So,
Right off the bat, it's real nasty. Kind of see, it's really hard on camera, but there's some metallic flakes in there. Possible. Yeah, it's a tad glittery running down right there. Kind of see that. Think so? Yeah. it runs down. Now we'll pull the regulator, double check for any contamination.
The software update period, doing a visual. See if you need me to help you get an O-ring for it.
You need an O-ring for it?
Or if you need
Look at the
help,
metal
you
on
need an
that.
O-ring for it.
There you can see those shards right there.
The O-ring.
Those are the bad ones.
So we pulled the quantity valve off this CP4 pump, and we've checked. By the way, low pressure. Do we have the?
We have low pressure.
Let's see. This is a perfect example. The guy came in here and wanted us to replace the low pressure pump because I believe he read something on the internet or something like that, and we kind of talked him out of it. We said, look, you know, if we replace that pump, will you be okay with paying us and that doesn't fix a dang thing? And he thought about it and decided that wasn't probably the right thing to do. The pump is pumping fuel. The sad part about it is it'll still need to be replaced because it'll be contaminated with metal. So the tank will have to be dropped, the lines flushed, the in-tank pump replaced, the CP4 high pressure pump replaced, the injectors and all the rails flushed. This is as big as a nightmare as it is on a Duramax or a Power Stroke. And you can see here on this note, we can take this over to my microscope. Remember I talked to you guys about it before. There's a big old piece of metal right there. You need to look at this under a microscope. But when you see these metal filings like this hanging on this, that's a dead giveaway that the CP4 has failed. And that roller in there, when we take this off, we'll open that up and show you. When you have catastrophic failure like this, the entire fuel system needs to be decontaminated. See all this crap hanging in here? This is metal that's hanging in the fuel. So when this happens, low sulfur fuel, no lubricity, we've got no lubricant in our diesel fuel here in America, and it just wipes out that roller on this high lift cam that's pumping that fuel. So replace the whole fuel system like you're supposed to. That's what the manufacturer recommends. Rails, injectors, fuel filter, tank.
What's up?
What's up? Okay, hey, this is important. Our Gladiator giveaway, it closes out on December 31st, New Year's Eve. So you want to get your points in for the giveaway before then. Getting back to the pump issue is you want to be able to give your customer options. So the only other option is just replace the pump that's failed, put a new fuel filter on it, and then have this conversation. Come in close. This is real important. There is no warranty. I'll get your truck up and running, but there's no warranty because I'm still got all that circulating metal that could get in and screw the pump up or an injector. So it's an option, but you want to make sure that that option has consequences that the customer understands.
This is Tanner.
Hey Tanner, this is David, Dave's Auto. How are you?
Hey Dave, how you doing?
I'm good. Merry Christmas to you and your team, guy.
You too.
Hey, listen,
Okay.
I'm calling you because I guess I got bad news, and I just figured I'd call you and tell you myself.
Oh, I love bad news.
well, ho, ho, ho. You're going to get a nice... You're a good guy, dude. I won't leave you cold for Christmas, but listen, I've got on your Land Rover, it's got contamination in the fuel. We got the up and running. We used some starting fluid and got the engine running. At first, I was concerned maybe the timing belt broke. This engine has a timing belt on it. And
I just had it replaced about 4 or 6 months, well, maybe
okay.
6 or 8 months ago.
Good. That was going to be one of my questions. Has it been done? Because with the mileage on there, it was due. It was due to be done. So good. So that.
Yeah, I had it done when it was due. So.
Okay, good. So that's not a problem. I got the engine up and running with some starting fluid, but your injection system is taking a big fat dump, and it's got what they call a CP4. The high pressure pump. The model is a CP4.
It does have a CP4 pump in it.
It does have a CP4, and it's grenaded, and that means that it's kind of taking a dump in your entire fuel system. You've got metal in the system, and we'll send you some digital photos here in a little bit.
Okay.
But I just wanted to tell you, Brandon, of course, will put you a quote together, Put your head between your knees and take some deep breaths before you open up the attachment, because I'll tell you, dude, it'll make you pass out. I mean,
I know. I know how much they cost. They're usually about 18 grand on like a full-size pickup. So
yeah, I think this should be a little less than that, but I mean, yeah, it's ugly. We'll get you some digital photos, some information, and a quote out. And anyway, sorry for the bad.
The lift pump's still good?
Yes, the lift pump is pumping fuel. We did check that. It's pumping fuel, but the problem is we've got to drop the tank, and if we can't clean that lift pump out, we'll have to look at how the cartridge is in there. It'll need to be replaced because,
Oh, okay.
a lot of it'll be we'll do
everything back to the tank.
Exactly. It just depends on how much we've got. We'll make a decision on that. Brandon will give you a quote for it, but what we don't have to replace, we won't. But you really won't know till you take a look at it. All right,
Well, that is bad news.
I know. That's a good.
I did buy it used, and so it was. I'm sure ran with just regular fuel for a long time. But since I've got it, I've been running the additive in every tank. So I was hoping that was gonna favor, but it didn't work evidently.
You got the right idea. There's no doubt about it. A diesel fuel conditioner with lubricities and cleaners in it is that certainly better than because our diesel fuel, as you know, is so low sulfur. But it's kind of like if you bought it used. It's like a guy that you put 100,000 miles on a truck and change the oil twice, and then all of a sudden you decide to start changing it regularly. The damage is already done.
Did you find out anything else on as far as when you got it running? Did you see how much blow by it had?
I only had it running for like 4 or 5 seconds because I'm making I'm making it run off of ether.
Off ether, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you kind of want to be careful about that.
We won't get to that point until after we get it actually running on fuel then again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks for the bad news, and I'm hoping we'll be in touch soon for that engine teardown.
Okay. Thanks, dude.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give him a quote and see what we can do.